Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kedar Upadhyay from Intensys. Today we are going to have a small demonstration of functions available for work instruction and process planning within the 3D Experience platform. But before we go on the technical content of this webinar, a brief introduction about Intensys. Intensys is founded in 1998 and we are a value-added reseller of the Dassault Systems product. We are based in Milton Keynes and we got offices in Castle Donington and Johannesburg. We are a part of Adnode Group, which provide the PLM consultancy across the globe. 3D Experience platform is being a V6 technology that is being developed by the Dassault System to provide a common platform for the various products that are being offered for the engineering and manufacturing of the parts. Today, we are going to focus on the manufacturing sector and where we'll be discussing the process planning and work instruction functions available within the 3D Experience platform. Before we go on the live demo, let's see what are the different phases that are involved in the process planning and work instruction creation within the 3D Experience platform. The process planning and work instruction platform will give you two major functions. The first one, as you can see on screen, will be search and navigation and manufacturing bill of material definition. And the second most is the actual process planning and work instruction. See, manufacturing bill of material definition is going to help us to actually group the design parts in such a way so that it reflects the actual manufacturing processes involved in it. Suppose if the part is being designed within the periphery of the assembly design, then we need to have a certain parts to be placed within the actual components before we actually manufacture it. So we need to give a special attention to the sequence in which we are assembling the part, and the main purpose that the system is going to help us to define the sequence in which the part is going to be manufactured. Second most important thing that we will be building is the logic. How the manufacturing, after defining the sequence, how much time is going to be consumed by each operation that involves in the manufacturing of that part. And depending on that, we will be performing we will be sequencing the manufacturing processes. We'll be taking call which particular part has to be designed or whether which particular part has to be bought out depending on the capacity of the plant. So it is going to help us to actually identify the bottleneck operation within the organization, and if required, it is going to provide us a good insight of what are the operations within the manufacturing we can actually bypass it or what are the operations that we can offshore it. And the last one is the work instruction. Whenever we are going to provide manuals to our customers or to the shop floor operator about how to operate the machines or how to operate the product that we are offering it to our customer, all those something can be very well managed to the work instruction workbench available within the 3D Experience platform. So as I said, that it has two major functions that we will be discussing. The first one is manufacturing bill of material and the second one is the details of process planning. But before we actually create a manufacturing bill of material for any part or for the assembly, the first thing that we need to do is we need to search the part within the 3D Experience platform. What are the different options available for the searching of the part and grading it as per the project requirement? That is something first we are going to see. Now the search and navigation function within the 3D Experience platform is something we are going to get it by default irrespective of which license we got. So any geometry that we will be opening within the 3D Experience platform has to be searched in a database and it needs to be explored. Then only we'll be able to make sure that whatever the part that we worked on is latest part or of our interest. So let's go over that process first. Okay. So if I show you the search and navigation functions within a 3D Experience platform, let's go over the actual demonstration for it. So you can see on the screen, I'm going to search a part within the 3D Experience platform. As soon as I search for it, you will find we will be able to explore that in the explore more format. Now, explore mode is nothing but the light mode format of any geometry that is being built within the 3D Experience platform. Business intelligence tool, which we are able to see it on the screen, you will find will allow me to actually cross-link the data as per its origin or as per its modification date or as per the location which is being saved or as per its owner. That will help us to actually track the progress of every part that we are going to design or analyze or even manufacture digitally within the 3D Experience platform. Now, any part that, as you can see on the screen, any part that we search, and if I use the 3D search option, you will find the system will allow me to actually search that particular part within the platform. Okay, once I search for that, then by using the volumetric tool, which we are able to see it on the screen, you will find the system will allow me to actually select the geometries that are around it. So whenever we are going to work on a very complex geometry, and if I would like to see all the parts that are within the periphery of that part that we are going to search, you will find this 3D search option is going to be very useful for you. So these are the few options available for us to actually search the geometry and explore it within the 3D Experience platform. Once I search this 3D geometry within the 3D Experience platform, the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a bill of material for the assembly, which we have just searched it within the platform. Now, when we are going to create a bill of material for any assembly, there are 2-3 ways we can do it. Either first we can ask the system for every part that we got it within the assembly, that need to be, every part within that has to be reflected in a bill of material as it is. That means your engineering bill of material and your manufacturing bill of material are exactly identical. But if you would like to group certain components together, then the process changes. The system will allow you to group the different components together. If required, the system will allow you to define whether that particular part is going to be manufactured within the organization, or it is going to be offloaded, or it is something you are going to buy it from your supplier of the shelf information. And most important thing that we will be defining over here is the actual manufacturing time for that part. So the lead time for any document or any geometry that we are going to design, we will be entering. So you may have to contact your supplier based on your, or you may have to enter that detail into the 3D Experience platform depending on your either by experience or the data that you got it from the supplier. So you can see on the screen, the first thing that we will be doing is we will be creating the embalm structure manually, and the next thing that we'll be doing is we will be validating that within the 3D Experience platform. So let's go over the process of actually creating the manufacturing bill of material within the 3D Experience platform. So first thing that we'll be doing, as you can see, search, and the next one is, the next after that is going to be the bill of material, but manufacturing bill of material creation option. So as you can see, manufacturing item definition application that we will be making use of it. Now you can see when I ask the system to actually automatically create it, you will find over here the manufacturing assembly document has been created. As soon as I create the manufacturing document assembly option, you will find the system will literally allow me to drag and drop every part of that assembly into the separate unit on this particular platform, so that you can see over here now I'm going to drag it. So the frame is being dragged up, and then I will able to add a substructure for it. So every part that we got it within the assembly, either I can add them as an individual item, or later on, depending on the groups, I can combine them together. So you can see over here, I'm going to select multiple components and bring them together as a separate entity, so that indicating all those parts are going to be manufactured, or this is something we are going to have it as a one unit while assembling the component, while the frame unit, that's something we are able to see, is going to be the separate unit. Now if you require, the system will allow you to actually transfer the geometries or the transfer the part from one structure to another, just like what we are able to see it on the screen. All this is something we are able to do it flyer, so you don't need to actually work on that part, and it has not necessarily need to be make accurate solution. Depending on the requirement, the sequence can be changed. So you can see on the screen the entire frame structure I have separated out from its equipment. Once I do that, then if required, I will able to add the any extra third-party geometry. So you can see over here, I will able to add the extra nodes within the embalm. Once I do that, then you can see for every part, I'll be defining whether that particular geometry is going to be outsourced or whether that particular geometry is going to be manufactured in-house. Over here, you will find there is an estimated time option as well. Now, the estimated time is nothing going to be a lead time of that particular component. Why this lead point is going to be different? Because when we are going to define the processes involved for every parts manufactured or every assembly manufacturing, then the system is going to do the line balancing option. At the line balancing option, and we need to have this time data as accurate as possible. Okay, so once as I said, is once I create the manufacturing bill of material, then what we need to do is we need to define the sequence in which these particular parts are going to be manufactured. Now, up to this point, what we did is just we grouped them together depending on how they are going to manufacture. So you can see the frame structure will be manufactured maybe in our factory. The second instant is the some of the brought out items, and the third instant that you can see is some parts of that are going to be off shelves, or some of the parts that we are going to assemble together in factory number 2. Now we will go on individual bit and then define the process. So for this particular demo, we will be making use of structures, and we are going to define the process planning for the structures. So let's go over the process planning details. So when we go in process plan detail, as you can see within the preview, the system is going to help me to first is the define the sequence. The system is going to do something called as a line balancing, depending on the capacity that we got, depending on the skill set we got. We will be able to make a decision which particular operation has to be performed onshore or has to be done on your shop floor, or which is something we can actually offload it to our supplier end. Many times, if there is a very highly skilled resources required for any particular operation, that would like to keep it as in-house operation. So in that case, you may would like to define that as one of the parameter while defining the manufacturing bill of material. So that at that time we can specify that condition cannot be offshore, or there is a possible that some operation can be performed in-house and some operations can be performed at the supplier. So in that case, we can say both the options are available, and in that case, the system will allow me to do the sequencing of a part, assuming the flexibility of the in-house creation or in-house manufacturing creation, or the giving it to the supplier. Okay, so let's go over how the system will allow me or to do the process planning or defining the logic for any particular any part that we are going to define manufacture within by using the process planning activity. So you can see over here, the first thing that we will do for every geometry that we have built, we are going to, depending on the number of components within it, we are going to define each as a work cell, and in between those work cells we are going to define the sequence in which they need to be manufactured. So we are going to build the logic sequence in there. Once I define the logic, then what we need to do is we need to actually add the individual components on every work station. So you can see within this structure which are the components that we are going to bring them together. So you can see the entire structure body is going to be created at one workstation. So as soon as I built on that one, can you see that is, whatever the components that are going to go on structures members, we will able to add them at every single work unit. So you can see In this 3D viewer, the system will allow me to add, by using the 3D viewer, the system will allow me to add it on the individual work structure that we have defined. Once I select these individual components, you will find I will able to track them on the individual workstation. Now, once I add them on that individual workstation, graphically, immediately you will able to see those getting added in your modeling area, while at the same time, you will find within the general system, you will able to see those are getting added as a activities or as a task within your platform. So all these component that we are going to drag it and drop it on the on the individual work cell, you will find those getting registered as the activities on your process planning. Once I do that, and if I would like to cross check it, which one are missing and which one are already done, you will find the system will allow me to make use of this business intelligence tool, just to make sure that we don't miss any of the part from your assembly structure for the process planning. So it is like a cross-checking operation that we can do it over here. Now, once I do that, once I define the work cell for every component, you will find the system is going to give me the details of how that particular, or the details of the Gantt chart, or how that particular part is going to manufacture. Now, over here you can see we are adding a cycle time for every operation that is being defined. Once I do that, here you go, and you will find the system is giving me the work balancing. That means how much time is going to be consumed for every work instruction or every work cell we'll be able to see, and can you see that the system is telling me which one is the actually above the capacity limit. So in that case, what we can do is we can do the line balancing. That means the system will allow me to actually change the sequence of the individual operations at that particular workstation, so that not any particular work instruction take longer time and all these are equally distributed. So every every workstation's capacity, that's something we can manage. Now you can see on the screen all these tasks or any installation that we have done. The system will give you the detailed Gantt chart of every task and every operation that we are going to perform it by using the process planning. Now over here, if you are going to perform any operations like painting, or if you are going to add some of the like if it's composite design, if there is a P-ply definitions, we need to do it, which are going to be the manufacturing specific activities that we need to do it. The system will allow me to define them as intermittent activities in between the two operations. Sometimes you would like to give some curing time. That means you need to allow some heat cycles to be done in between the two operations. If that is a requirement, we will able to add those details as well. So it's not just the assembly of a part, but depending on the complexity of a geometry, or depending on the required processes to be followed for the definition or for the manufacturing of that particular part, we will able to add them manually within this within this particular planning process planning toolbar. But once I define the processes for every operation that we are going to perform, or every component that we are going to manufacture within as a part of our product services, what we need to do is we need to provide the detailed work instruction either to our shop floor operators, or we may have to create a detailed instruction for the site engineers, which will be assembling that particular component at the customer end, or sometimes to our customers as well, so that they can assemble that particular component in-house. If that is a requirement, then we need to make use of work instruction workbench. Again, this work instruction workbench is going to give me details of every activity that we have planned as per the process planning, and for every activity that we had planned within the process planning, we will be able to create a work instruction for every step within the plan. So for every work instruction, we need to select every task on the process plan. And how to do that, that's something we'll show in a minute. So you can see work instructions, we'll able to create them directly by using the process plan, and then we will able to publish them in a different format. What are those formats? That's something we'll see now. So you can see in this one, if I would like to add some text for in a fastener, you will find the system will allow me to actually add the details. So there is quite a lot of predefined library of the instructions that are already available to you. We just need to modify it depending on the requirement. Okay. If there is a work instruction, if there is hazard or which particular equipment that we need to use it, again we can define those as well. If I would like to add some symbols regarding the hazard of that particular operation or any particular equipment that you need to use it, we'll be able to add the details of that one. So like that, we can go for every process that we have defined in our process planning, and all those detailed work instruction that we are going to get, we are going to define it over here, are going to get it linked to it. So when the system is going to show me a process plan, it's not going to show me the process plan, but for the every task within the process plan, we'll have a detailed work instruction about how to do that activity as well. Now, once I do that, then it needs to be published in a different format. Now, currently, we will be able to publish them either in HTML format, in a 2D format. But with the release of 2018, I think that's something we will be able to publish it digitally in 3D as well. So we will be able to get 3D work instructions. That's something the individual users will able to see them on their iPads or even on the smartphones as well if required. So if our general, as I said, the work instructions can be published in 3D, in printed, or we can send them to the mobile, or we can send them in the HTML format that can be accessed. Once I define that, let's review those work instructions in the 3D world, how to do that. So the first thing what we need, individual operator has to do it needs to be searched. Then he need to search the individual process that he need to visualize. Once I do that, you will find the system will start giving me the detailed instructions of that particular task. He will able to actually zoom in and zoom out that particular component. He will able to actually annotate individual customers. He will able to see all the detailed instruction that is being created for that particular task. Okay, so it's a 3D view of every task that we are defined under the process plan, along with its geometry. What are the effects that we are going to add it on that one? How to do it? Which tools that we need to use it? All those details we will able to add it within this work instruction, just like what we are able to see it on the screen. Okay. Only thing is we need to have a 3DEXPERIENCE logins for that for every work instructor user. It is going to be just reviewer license, so it is going to be a very cheap or a very basic license will be sufficient. In fact, you can see over here within this work instruction, we will able to animate some basic operations, will not basic operations within the process planning as well. As you can see which part we are working on, detailed instructions. If the operator is not sure which component the system is talking about, you can see that on a screen. We'll able to filter them out graphically as well, so that even the operator is new or untrained, he will able to just read those instructions, follow those graphically on the screen, and even he can match with the bill of material of the geometry, making sure that all the detailed instructions are being provided to him. One of the key advantage of using this 3D experience platform is going to be the making sure that we work on the live data. So any change in the revision that we will do it, we'll able to accommodate those changes in terms of revisions immediately. So you don't need to start planning the entire process plan again. What we can do is we can just replace your existing revision with the latest revision, and we can just modify only the steps that are associated with that process plan. One more thing I would like to stress it over here: if your existing process plan are available in the Excel file, we will able to import those directly within the 3D Experience platform, and the system has the intelligence to actually look for or create the process plan based on the Excel file that we have imported within the 3D Experience platform. So you don't need to spend a lot of time on rebuilding your infrastructure for the process planning. If you just have Excel files that that contains the data related with what are the processes that you perform, how much is the lead time for that, what are the different criteria for giving that particular geometry for either manufacturing in-house or it's sending it to your supplier or either buying it directly. All that's something, if you got it in Excel file, can be imported in within the 3D Experience platform, and we can start using them. So it's quite interactive tool. That's something Dassault System has provided. Now this brings it to the end of the webinar for the process planning and work instruction. The purpose of this particular webinar was just to give you a general idea about what the 3D Experience platform process planning and work instruction can give it to you. There are many functions that we can explore. Just due to the short window of 30 minutes, I think I tried to give you some basic information about all the tools available within the platform. But if you would like to explore any of these functions in the details, please let me know, and we will be able to give you the detailed demo of these functions as per your requirement. If you have any questions, please give us please let us know those questions in the chat window, and we'll try to answer you through the email. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks. Bye.